How are you?
You're right.
Good, good, good. So, we met, must be over a year ago now, at the Bowery Bar, and
That's
you
probably about a year and a half ago.
year and a half,
Probably.
yeah.
Getting on it.
And I think we've bumped into a few events where you've been at OpenMicNights.
Yeah.
So it's been great that we've got some pictures of you,
Mm.
but tonight we actually get some footage. So thanks for agreeing to come down to this
Thanks for
tonight
having me.
in the mobile home on tour, the tour bus. So, Connor, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're from Derry,
I am.
born and bred.
Yeah.
Okay. You always lived in the area, that kind of thing.
I've been kind of moving around Derry for. Came here when I was about 3.
Right.
And I've been moving around Derry, different bits ever since.
Okay. And so, what do you do to feed yourself, day job wise?
I've been kind of doing temp office, clerical admin kind of stuff for the last.
Any jobs in the past that stand out? You enjoyed the most?
Jobs that I enjoyed the most
Yeah.
are. I think that's an oxymoron. Just,
That's fair enough. That's
Yeah.
fair enough. So we're going to talk a little bit about your musical influences. Okay, been trawling through your Facebook page. Some of your audio renditions kind of I would class maybe as very folk orientated. Would that be fair to say?
I would, yeah. I think if it's a voice and acoustic guitar, it's generally folk would be the tag. It's not something that I ever actively cultivated. I never decided that I was going to do folk.
Right. Just became a thing.
Yeah, I think if it's a voice and if it's a voice and an acoustic guitar, if you're singing with an acoustic guitar, generally people will say the word folk.
Right. Do you say that as a bad thing, or do you think it's a bad thing this day and age?
I'm just not a big fan of tags.
Right.
Really, or genre. I don't really like. I don't think about. I don't want to write songs. I don't think about, is it a folk song, or is it indie, or is it about country? Sure, I just write it, and then somebody else usually will tell me what it sounds like.
So somebody else puts the tag on.
Generally, yeah. I don't really worry about it too much.
That's okay. Yeah. So, how long have you been playing guitar?
I've been playing guitar. I'm 28 now. I've been playing guitar since I was about 11. I think was when I got my first one. My dad got me a Strat copy. I was messing around on my brother a couple of guitars. Right-handed. I was messing around with them upside down, and then my dad got me my own left-handed guitar, and that's when I really seriously kind of took it up. So yeah, that's probably about 17 years, which is really depressing to think about. That's a long time.
That's a long time, yeah. So, do you recall the first song that you wrote yourself?
I don't remember, no. Because again, as soon as I picked up the guitar, I was trying to come up with stuff of my own, because I always, and that's again probably like 10, 11. Okay. I don't remember. I just know that I did, because I always had the thing in my head of, that's what it's for.
Yeah.
It's you're meant to write on it. I don't know where that came from. I just always had the thing in my head. It was never for really playing other people's songs. I always looked at it as a vehicle for doing something of your own, even at that age, and I don't know why.
Who would obviously, to start somewhere, you would have took an inference. You would have tried to replicate some skills that somebody else has. Would there be a influence there that you thought, oh, I would like to be like that? Is that where I want to wait? Yeah. You know, is there anybody springs to mind?
Kurt Cobain. Nirvana was a massive.
Would have been about the same time period.
Yeah.
18 years ago.
Massive Nirvana fan.
He would have been dead by.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
He died a few years before I'd heard him, and that was like the first thing I heard about him, because I remember hearing Nevermind, and
that'd have been 95, I think, when he passed away.
It was 94.
94.
Yeah. I heard Nevermind, and I went, "Who's that?" And my brother went, that's Nirvana.
Mm.
And I went, who are they? Who's he? And he went, don't worry,
who was he?
Who's he? Don't worry, he's dead. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And that was like the first thing I was like, oh no, that's a shame.
Yeah.
And then I got really, really into, I was really into punk as well, punk rock. And I got really, really into the Ramones. And I remember like when I was a big Ramones fan, like it was around that time that Joey Ramone died. And I was like, again, dropping like flies. Anytime I decide to get into somebody, I find out they've died, usually. It's almost as if I'm doing it on purpose. But yeah, Nirvana and Kurt Cobain, it might have been a wee bit to do with the fact that he was left-handed. I don't know.
Right.
Because Kurt Cobain and Jimi Hendrix, I remember seeing like video of them and going, they're left-handed and I'm left-handed, and there was some sort of thing of, right, okay, that's cool. But I've always been really into music and guitars. Like,
did you have your left-handed guitar at that time, or you trying to play the right-handed one?
I was trying to play the right-handed one upside down. I never tried to play it right-handed.
All right.
I don't know why. I knew, like,
it's a natural feeling.
I just knew that it was meant to go this way.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, like, because a lot of left-handed players will play right-handed, just for convenience. Like, there's more choice of guitars, and generally you're going to be taught by somebody that's right-handed, and it's just easier to learn that way. But I always, for some reason, knew that it was meant to be this way around for me. So yeah, I don't know where that comes from.
Did you have a guitar teacher? Was there any, or did you just?
I went to a few lessons, kind of here and there. My big guitar lesson, my first guitar lesson, was my brother, who's about 3 years older than me. He wrote out on a piece of file paper. He wrote out chord shapes, just the standard ones, E, A, F, G, and all that. And he handed it to me and went, learn them.
Right. And
walked out of the room. And there was a sense that this was not to be a regular occurrence. I wasn't really, I didn't feel like I was going to be able to kind of wander around and be like, but which finger goes where? No, I kind of had to figure that out for myself.
Yeah.
Which I did. I had to, there was a lot of frustration and a lot of very sore fingers. A lot of calluses being built up, but it was something I really, really wanted to do. And I don't really know why. It was just, I was always really into guitar music. And guitar players, I just thought were the absolute bollocks. I wanted to be one, and I don't know why.
No,
I don't know where it
bass,
comes
just
from.
You want to be up front.
I wanted to be over to the side.
Did you?
I didn't really, being up front was always kind of made me uncomfortable.
Right.
But I wanted to be the guitar player. Like, I remember I'd be watching at the Top of the Pops or like TFI Friday or something, whatever it was when I was a kid. And the lead singer never interested me. It was the fella over at the side with the sunglasses on, playing the electric guitar. I was like, that's who I want to be. And the singing, I don't know, again, I don't really know where that came from. I still don't class myself as a singer. I never did. I used to class myself as a guitar player, and then it became apparent that I had too many songs, and I was playing my own stuff for long enough that it was like, right, you're not just a guitar player, you are actually singing, you know. So it's like, I love Noel Gallagher's term of being a songwriter singer.
The other way around.
The other way around, like the song is more important
than the singer.
Than the singer, or well, the song. I feel like the song's more important than the fact that I'm singing it. It's just I don't particularly. I don't like the thought of working with a lead singer. I don't really like the thought of somebody else singing my stuff when I'm standing there. I'd feel like you're like, you know,
you're ruining it.
Yeah, not even necessarily. Not necessarily. It's like I'd just be like, you don't know what it's about.
You don't get it.
you don't get. You weren't there when I had the thought. You weren't there when I had the conversation, or when I saw the thing that sparked it. It's just, I don't know. It just makes
ownership.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So
just on that point, then, that the singer might not get it. What about the audience? Because that's even a bigger disconnect. At least you can explain to the singer, the heritage of the song. But when a song's past your lips or out on the airwave and it's making its own sound waves, it's up. Sometimes the audience will have their interpretation of either what it means to them or what they think it meant to you. There's no way really of bridging that.
Well, my way of looking at it, or my way of looking at how I write lyrics, it's about, for me, it's about direct communication. It's about, like, I'm not great at like big kind of poetic, flowery kind of flights of fancy in lyrics. I love it when other people do it, but I can't. I just, it's not a skill that I have. But I found that something that I feel like I'm good at is just kind of a direct thing of, right, here's what this is about. And I don't feel like there's much ambiguity. Every now and again, someone will have an interpretation of one of my songs that isn't necessarily what I thought it was. But sometimes I think it's kind of funny because there's a song in particular that I wrote where people thought it was about the opposite of what it's actually about. People think that it's this kind of really romantic song, and in actual fact, it's just about trying to get off with somebody. Like, unashamedly, there's no romance at all.
Do you want to play it?
Yeah, it's called Stay Around.
Stay Around.
I'm reeling. There's footprints on the ceiling. It's an oceanic feeling. I'm not steady on my feet. And baby, you're sick of all their maybes. I've a feeling she could save me if she could get out of her seat. Can I stay around? Can I stay around? Can I stay around till everyone leaves? I've been scarred some. Yeah, everybody's got one. Not everybody shows. Except for me and you. What she called for. Yeah, you're an easy one to fall for. I wonder, is this what it's all been for? All that we've been through. Can I stay right? Can I stay right? Can I stay right? Till everyone stay right. Can I stay right? Can I stay right? Till everyone leave.
So that was Stay Around.
Was.
And it doesn't give the impression that actually, no, I would have interpreted that's kind of a romantic song, but
that is the general interpretation,
right?
And
things do tend to take on a life of their own sometimes. You still sticking to that? Where did that germinate from?
That did come from pretty much exactly what the situation was. It was a house. It was in the pub one night. Ended up back at a party at somebody's house, and I never actually asked the question,
right?
But it was sort of implied.
Okay.
And yeah, a while later, I wrote the song, and I had the tune. I always really liked the tune. It took me a long time to write words.
That's the thing as well. Do you start with a melody, or do you start? Is there any constant to it?
It depends.
Really,
it does depend. It's for me. There's two ways of writing a song. At the minute, I'm just working with an acoustic guitar and a voice. So I either start with a lyrical idea and try and fit chords around that, or I start with a tune and try and fit words around that, and I find the latter being much more difficult, and it takes a lot longer.
Really?
I don't feel like I'm a natural lyricist. It takes a while for me, especially if I really, really like the tune. I'm like, these words need to be really good. They need to fit perfectly, and the rhythm of them has to be right. And for me, a lot of times lyrics are about the rhythm of it, or how the words kind of sound together, like how a word follows a word, or how a line follows a line. I feel like it's almost as important as what they actually say. It's just maybe that's getting too bogged down in the mechanics of it, but
do you adjust the melody sometimes just to fit a lyric later, or do you say if you've got a particular tune and it has a certain tempo and you've got a word that you really want to convey?
No, I just
change the word.
I change the word usually.
Really?
Yeah. In terms of changing melodies, it's more trying to find a key that fits, trying to find a key that sounds right, and you pitch it up a little bit, or you pitch it down a little bit, and maybe it brings out something in your voice when you're singing it. Brings out a certain quality, and you're like, right, or that melody just feels better, feels more natural.
And do you stick to like the normal structure of songwriting, verse, chorus, bridge, all that sort of stuff? Do you
usually verse, chorus, chorus?
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Watch out for that one. It's I'm saying if you listen to more than 3 of my songs, you'll be like, a lot of those. If you start to kind of, if you know the pattern, it's verse, chorus, verse, chorus. Yeah, repeat. It's
fade out.
Fade out. I haven't actually got many fade outs. I haven't written around the fade yet.
No.
Maybe that was more of an 80s thing. I don't know. Maybe they're bringing it back.
Maybe you could bring it back.
Yeah, I saw a fellow walking down Spencer Road and like a whole ensemble of acid wash denim.
Okay.
So maybe
that's brave.
Maybe fade. Maybe we should bring the fades back along with gated snares.
So some of your influences.
Yeah.
Elliott Smith.
The 2 big ones for me would be Glenn Hansard, who's the singer in a band called The Frames, an Irish band, and Elliott Smith, who's an American singer-songwriter who was the 15th anniversary of his death. It was either yesterday or it was the other day, and it kind of got me thinking about him.
How did you stumble across Elliott then?
Somebody played me some of his stuff when I was like 17, 18, and I really didn't like it. And then for some reason, I found a couple of songs it has a year or 2 later, and for whatever, I don't know why, for whatever reason, it stuck with me. I was just in the right headspace that day or whatever. And my brother gave me a mixed CD. It was like of like MP3s. It was half I See a Darkness by Bonnie Prince Billy and half the self-titled second album by Elliott Smith. And I found myself quickly skipping past the Bonnie Prince Billy stuff just to get to Elliott Smith, and I went and got all his records then. It just made a lot of sense. I was like 19, 20. It just made a lot of sense to me at that point.
So when you first heard him, you would have been how old?
When I first heard him, I was maybe 17, 18, and it took me maybe a year or 2.
So it made sense just because of where you were in your own life, or?
It was a bit of that, and something to do with how it was recorded. It's very lo-fi. The first couple of albums are pretty much just kind of 4-track. The first album especially was just done on a 4-track in the basement of his house. And then the next 2 albums were kind of recorded here and there, just using like friends' equipment and wee days in studios, and it was very, very lo-fi and very basic. And something about that really spoke to me.
Is there a particular song that you've learned that you could maybe do an Elliott
Not
Smith?
without tuning my guitar.
That's all right. We'll take a break and you can tune your guitar.
Yes.
Okay, we'll come back in a short while.
Okay.
Okay, so we're all tuned up, ready to go with some Elliott Smith. What's the song called?
It's called The Biggest Lie. It's the last song on his second album.
Okay, take it away.
Here goes nothing. Waiting for a train, subway that only goes one way. Stupid thing that'll always pull us apart, make everybody late.
You spend everything you have, wanting everything to stop that bad. Crush credit card, registered to Smith, not the name that you call me with. Turn white like a saint, tired of dancing on a pot of gold, flake paint. And we're so very precious, you and I. And everything that you would do makes me wanna die. I just told the biggest lie. The biggest lie. Biggest lie.
Very good.
It's a good tune.
It's a good tune. So we've talked about the Frames. Irish band.
Irish band, yep. Formed. Here we go. Formed in 1990. They've been going since 1990. They've had a kind of a weird route. They released a bunch of albums through a bunch of different labels and had a whole very messy career. And then Glenn Hansard he was in the Commitments, and then he was in a film called Once and won an Oscar for Best Original Song for that. You might know him from that. But I first heard him and I heard the Frames in about 2003. I was about 13, and I saw the first episode of a show called Other Voices. It was on RTE2, and something about them it just grabbed me, and that's 15 years later, and they're probably still my favorite band.
Still got hold of you.
Not quite so much now, thankfully. I can listen to other music that isn't them. But there was a period of a few years where it was just all Frames and Hunter all the time. And the Frames getting on the Frames, I feel like got me out of just listening to kind of Nirvana and punk. It made me kind of think about music in a slightly different way, and using the guitar in a slightly different way, and writing songs in a slightly different way, which I think is really important. It made me kind of listen to slightly different music, and I from that I got into like the Smiths, and I started getting into people that Glenn Hansard and the Frames would have toured with or would have known, people like Damien Rice and Josh Ritter and Mark Geary and Bellix One and Mike Christopher, and there's a whole list. But that kind of got me, in a roundabout way, that got me into playing acoustic music, rather than just being kind of staunchly an electric guitar player, which I think was a big moment for me. It made me start just kind of thinking about, right, just one man on a guitar and songs, and not having to have a band necessarily, because for years I wrote songs for a band that I didn't have, because I thought that's what you needed to do. That's the way you wrote songs. But I got to be about 16, 17, and I was playing acoustic guitar more and more just anyway. And then I started writing on acoustic, and that's kind of where things started to turn around. And that's kind of led us to here, I suppose. I'm a slightly better guitar player than I was then, thankfully. But yeah, it was mostly, I would say, to do with Glenn Hansard was the reason why I started thinking more in terms of being an acoustic singer-songwriter. And then the Elliott Smith influence, that sort of was more to do with recording and arranging things in a certain way, because I felt like you had to spend a load of money and go into a big studio to make albums. I felt like that was the only way you did it. I didn't know that there was such a thing as lo-fi, and this was up until I was about 19, which is a bit embarrassing because you're a bit long in the tooth at that point to think that that's what you had to do. But it was hearing Elliott Smith, especially his first album, which was called Roman Candle, which he made in his basement on a 4-track tape recorder in about 93, 94. And he never meant it to be released. He just did it for himself. And I feel like you can kind of tell that by when you listen to it. That's very personal, and he's just kind of trying things out. He's not too worried about how it comes across or how it sounds. And I think that's one of the great things about it. And that had a massive impact on me and sort of just changed my way of thinking about recording and about arrangements and about what you actually need in a song, or what you need for a record, what a record needs to be. And it just made me start thinking, you don't need anything. All you need is songs. If the songs are good, if you believe in it, if you think the songs are good, and if the performances are good, that's all you need. You don't need thousands and thousands of pounds. You can just, if you've got, half decent gear, which is really easy to get these days, in the last 10, 15 years, the rise of technology has meant that recording gear and software and stuff is fairly thick on the ground. And it's taken me until I was nearly 29 to actually start buying my own gear as opposed to just talking about it. But yeah, I've got a few bits and I'm kind of messing around with it. And I've got a couple more bits to get, and then I'm going to be moving into a house in the next couple of weeks, and I'm just going to get stuck in and see what I can come up with.
Is there a potential there for maybe producing with this equipment? Again, if you don't have the resources.
What, for other people? Or,
yeah.
That.
Have you thought about that?
Never.
Well, if it becomes something, I started here.
Yeah. What, are you going to take a cut?
Not at all. Is
that your 10-15% stake? That's intellectual property.
We heard it here first.
Yeah. I don't know. If I ended up producing, God knows what it would turn into. It would turn into my album, probably.
Right.
It's like when John Martin he was meant to be playing on his wife at the time, Beverly Martin. He was meant to be, I think, playing guitar on her album and maybe doing a bit of backing vocals, and it became his album because he just kept saying to the producer, like, yeah, but I've got more songs. Yeah, but listen to this one.
Yeah.
That's better than what she has, And I feel like if I was producing, that's how it would end up. It would just be like,
these people coming in.
Let's just, that's fine. But how about something like this? And it would end up being like me in big letters, and the whatever, whoever it is,
backing vocals.
Yeah, it's just it's frightening to think that my ego is that size, but it's probably very true.
So you've got plans. You're now.
I do, yeah.
Because you've attempted an album before, haven't you?
I think I'm trying to think of how many times I've actually kind of messed around or nearly got there. It's probably about 3 or 4 times that I actually was very nearly. I was kind of on the cusp of making something.
And what stopped that happening to your
just things fell through. Just
promises made or
it happens.
Obligations.
It happens. People have lives and things fall through. And stuff.
It's frustrating.
Gets in the way, and it is. But
as they say, it is what it is sometimes.
Yeah. But I've got an idea. I've got a single that I want to do, and then maybe an EP. I've got a fellow that's kind of giving me a hand, a fellow called Shane Byrne, who has his own labels called Ragged Company Records. He's operating out of Carlow, and he's kind of been a sounding board for a good few years, just about things that I'd like to do, and he's always been a great ear.
If you had to pick a song then for the launch, your first song, I mean, you've said in the past you've nearly 4 albums worth of music.
That is true. I'm on my 4th.
4th album.
I'm on my 4th hypothetical album. I've picked up many hypothetical Grammys. I get to buy lunch with millions of hypothetical pounds that I've earned.
Yes. So I mean, the plan is get a single out there. Yeah. Have you ever released a single?
No.
Have you got anything on other than your Facebook page? Anything on Spotify?
I've got
bands.
Couple of things on Facebook, couple of things on YouTube. I've got a SoundCloud page.
Yeah.
With just kind of random stuff. There's probably like 3 albums worth of stuff on that.
On SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And we'll provide a link in the description. Get you some followers on that. Okay. It wouldn't matter if you're on mine. But no. So again, back to the song.
Yeah. It's probably more than likely going to be a song of mine called You Never Change, which it's probably out of the 4 albums, which is really embarrassing to think of it like that. I've got 4 albums.
Well, look how many Prince has, and were never released.
Yeah, but at the same time,
yeah, true.
He got off his arse and actually made albums too, along with that. Yeah. He also made Purple Rain.
Yes.
I haven't, you see. But it'll probably be a song of mine called You Never Change. It's one of the catchier ones. It's just, whenever I think about it, it just feels like it's a kind of natural fit for a single. I don't know why. It just, I don't know. It has that air of it to me.
Okay. Do you want to give it an acoustic airing?
More tuning.
More tuning. Yeah. We'll be back, because obviously we tuned down.
We had the tune down, we have the tune back up again.
So we'll be back in a second.
2 seconds. This is called You Never Change.
She stares at her shoes, helps her make it through the day. She's drinking through till the morning. She's wishing she'd moved away. She's working a job in a small town where her back's against the wall. I'm sorry to tell you, love, but that's no way to live at all. gathering dust upon your shelf. It's been a while since you took me down. I'm starting to get the impression you don't want me around, but I'm still standing in your doorway with a rose between my teeth. Just wish there was a rock that I could crawl underneath. See you on the way down, spectacle for your next breakdown. It's always been the same. I realized that you'll never change. You never change. Black cloud is following me everywhere I go. I think that I might tell you, guess you wouldn't want to know. Every step is a crack on the pavement, every look cuts to the bone. No wonder would it be any different if I just stayed on my own. See you on the way down, spectacle for your next breakdown. It's always been the same. I realize that you'll never change. 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 You'll never. You'll never change. You'll never. You'll never change. 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 You'll never. You'll never. You'll never. Na, na, na.
That was You Never Change.
Yep.
Potentially the first song you're going to release officially.
Yeah.
Is there any? So when you talk about releasing a song, do you see yourself with percussion? Do you see yourself with drums and that sort of thing? But you still
I don't see myself with drums.
No.
There are a few songs of mine I feel like where a drummer could do. You could have bits of percussion or drums or whatever, but a lot of them I don't feel like the drums would. I don't feel like if I had a drummer, they wouldn't have very much to do because they're quite kind of. I'm going to use the word myself. I'm going to folky and kind of using different tunings and quite finger picky and.
Yeah.
I don't know what a drummer would do really.
Yeah.
I feel like they maybe would get in the way a little bit.
Because you don't use a pick. You're very finger oriented.
For certain songs,
yeah,
I've started to. But yeah,
that's one beat up looking guitar, mate. That needs love. Oh, it's had a lot of love.
It's had a lot of
abuse.
It's had a lot of abuse. Yeah.
Where's this guitar come from?
This guitar. This is an Art and Lutherie, which is a Canadian brand. They are a subsidiary of Golden. And I needed a guitar that I could plug in. I used to have one my ma got me, which died a death. I got this when I was about 22, and the problem being, and the reason why it looks so kind of fucked is it doesn't have a scratch plate, and there isn't a massive amount of varnish on it.
Yeah.
So if you're giving it stick,
yeah,
it'll just scrape away whatever the kind of
protection that was there originally.
Just whatever little bit of paint or it's.
Are you due a change or are you sentimental?
Yeah, I'm thinking about changing up. I want to use this for kind of finger picking stuff because it really, that's kind of what it's for.
Yeah.
I kind of want to use it for finger picking and different tunings and stuff, but I feel like I kind of need to have another acoustic just to kind of, even just for variety.
Yeah.
Just to kind of have a variety of different sounds. What I've started doing in the last couple of months is my uncle gave me a hollow body a couple of years ago, an electric guitar, and I've started using that for certain songs, and I use this for certain songs. Or I got a classical, a semi-acoustic classical, which I got that a couple of months ago, and I can use that for certain songs as well. So maybe I'll use like 2 guitars for the one gig. And I got a pedal. I started buying little bits of kit in the last few months. I got a pedal, a little preamp, EQ pedal, a little bass thing, and it's got reverb and delay, and it's got a looper on it, which is really fun. If I'd known that we were going to be able to plug in here, I would have brought it.
We're a bit limited in power, but yeah.
Well, we could have worked around it.
We could have done with batteries.
Yeah.
The loop. I seen somebody last night using acoustic with a loop, and it was quite impressive. A guy, Keith Young, I think he's called. I'll write his details down somewhere. But yeah, the pedal with a semi-acoustic.
Yeah, that the looper, I'm still kind of trying to get my head around, and there's not a lot of my songs that really suit it. A couple of them really, really work.
Is it because you just maybe that you didn't have it, and now you have it? You probably write differently to try and tie it in a little bit.
I haven't written anything specifically around it. I'm just kind of working with what I have at the minute.
Yeah, no, I'm saying now that you have it,
maybe.
You know, the more gear you get, the more creative you could become sometimes.
I mean, having the recording gear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a little MIDI keyboard. That'll probably be my next purchase. I mean, that'll change how I write, I would imagine, having software, having access to X number of programs, which, you've got thousands of instruments on it. It means that I won't necessarily just be limited to an acoustic guitar, even though that's probably, I would imagine, going to be the basis of what I do for a while at least. It means that I'm not limited to it. I can kind of mess around and do different kinds of music and draw inspiration from different places. And I don't know. I think it's kind of cool to have those options. I think that's kind of why I got the pedal, and I got a big kind of pedal board thing. It's a multi effects, and it's kind of a multi effects pedal board kind of cross. I'm still grappling with that. I haven't used it live yet.
So what brand's that?
That's Line 6.
Right.
And I think the genesis of that was, the reason I got it was I saw a video on YouTube of Johnny Marr talking about a Boss multi-effects kind of pedal board thing that he got, and he was able to use it for like old Smith songs and new stuff that he had, and he was able to find all these sounds that just fit perfectly, stuff that he'd recorded 30 years before. He was able to find the right sound like really quickly, and he talked about which I thought was really interesting, like using different reverbs for different parts of songs, or different speeds of delay, or things like that, just little changes that can make a really big difference to the sound. And it was something that really kind of struck me, and I remember thinking that would be a really great kind of way to go, just because I've started to feel more and more in the last couple of years that I've got quite a lot of songs, and they don't all sound the same, and so I don't think they should be treated the same. And I've been at it a while. I've been playing my own songs at gigs for 9 years, and my first gig where I was playing my own songs was when I was 19. As I say, 28, nearly 29, and I feel like just rocking up with an acoustic guitar on your back, and expecting the sound man to do everything for you is fine if you're doing the open mics, or if you're just starting out, or if you're like popping in to do a couple of tunes at your mate's gig or whatever. Whereas if you're at it a while and you got a vision for what you want to do, and you know what sounds will work with what songs, I feel like you should maybe branch out. I feel like it's your responsibility if you're there for, if you've been at it a while. It's your own fault if you're kind of limiting yourself.
Yeah. Would you say you could be holding yourself back?
Yeah. Not even necessarily in terms of like attention, not like in terms of career, but even just in terms of your own sound. I remember I did a gig. I was thinking about this earlier on. I did a gig last year. I did 2 gigs in 2 nights. I did one on a Thursday night, one on a Friday night, and they were very, very different gigs, and it was all to do with the sound. The gig on the Thursday, the sound was terrible, and I couldn't get into it at all, and I had a really rough gig as a result of that.
Did it annoy you? You could hear the music.
It really got into my head,
and then I just took the energy out of you. You thought, what's the point?
I couldn't get into it at all.
Right.
I just couldn't get into the gig. I couldn't get into what I was doing. And then the gig the next night, the sound was great, and I really got into it, and it was a really, really good gig. And it kind of got me started thinking about, this is really kind of my responsibility.
It's your sound.
Yeah, it's my sound, and I do have like ideas for, I want to use certain effects for certain songs, or certain parts of certain songs. Because certain songs lend themselves to a certain sound or whatever.
That takes a lot of practice though, doesn't it? Because you're singing, you're consciously aware that you're holding the tune. Now you're involving your feet in terms of making sure you don't hit the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Because, they are multifunctional pedals, and you don't want to hit a loop when you're open looking for a reverb.
Yeah.
Throw out the mix.
The great thing about the pedal board, from what I've been able to work out, is you can create your own presets. You can create your own kind of range of effects for that song.
Right, okay.
And you can just go, right, you tap your foot and you're able to go right for this bit of this song, and
Right.
you just change it. So it's like, right, a wee bit more reverb for this bit, or maybe I need a bit of distortion for this bit.
So it's simply a tap. So
You're
ready
because
to go for
you've already saved.
Yes.
You've loaded it up. It's all saved, and all you have to do is just one click, and you're into this. Or
it's almost idiot proof, would you say?
Well, we'll see. I haven't really done it yet. I'm still grappling with it, so it's apparently not 100% idiot proof.
Right.
I suppose it depends on the idiot, really. But yeah, that's something I really want to do. There are certain songs of mine, again, with the using electric guitar and because it just works for certain songs.
So with the pedal board, then you're in more control.
Yes, I think that's the kind of point of it for me. It's about having control over your own sound. And
do you recognise that then when you're on a gig and somebody rocks up and they've got the pedal boards out, you go, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah, what I used to do, even somebody using more than one guitar, what I used to think is like, you're taking this far too seriously.
Right, but now you're thinking you didn't take this serious enough.
Yeah. I've kind of turned around on it.
Yeah.
I think I had to kind of come to the conclusion myself. I don't know. It was
what was it? Was it those two gigs?
I don't know. A little bit of it was that, but it was also again Johnny Marr. It was reading his autobiography, which is called "Set the Boy Free." It's brilliant, and how seriously he takes his sound, especially live. And he has this term that he uses, which is producing with your feet. And it's just making, it's having different effects just at your disposal, and just you can use it for this little bit of this song or whatever, and it does make a massive difference. And I've been to see him. I saw him live earlier in the year, and I think it's about a week and a half I'll be seeing him again, and you really, really notice the difference of how seriously he takes it, and it really works.
Yeah, for
everything he does. It's great, and it's a real inspiration.
Was it the reluctance to take it serious? Because
maybe.
Why? Where does that come from? Is it confidence? Is it ability led? What is it?
The confidence has always been an issue.
Yeah.
The self-esteem and all that's been an issue for as long as I can remember.
Doesn't everybody in the music industry have that tap on the shoulder, Gene? What are you doing here kind of feeling?
Well, if they do, they don't seem to let it bother them, and I do for whatever reason, or I did. And I think, touch wood, I'll find some wood. Well, touch wood, I'm kind of getting over it, and at least enough to think about putting out a single. Seriously think about putting out a single and an EP, and buying this equipment and using different guitars and trying to take it a bit more seriously. And I've booked upstairs in the Grand Central for next month. I think it's the 16th of November, and it'll be my first headlining gig.
Paid gig? At the door?
We hope. I don't know. Depends how many people turn up. Might have to be free. But
see, there we go again.
Yeah,
it's the confidence thing. Because there's been a tectonic shift with you recently in the last year or so. Sort of, you went really one way, didn't you? You went really into a dark place, and to come out of that, now reignited. Kind of.
Yeah.
What changed? What took you there, and what's got you back?
Yeah. Well, I've been kind of up and down for years, and it was only in the last year or so. It was just over a year ago that I actually went to the doctor and went, I can't be doing this anymore, because what was starting to happen was you're kind of up and down, and the downs were lasting longer, and it was taking a lot more out of me to pull out of it. It was taking a lot more energy each time, and I just felt like it was draining, and I was just tired. I was just something needs to change, and I went to the doctor, and I told her how I was feeling, and got put on medication, and after a while I got referred to counselling, and I feel like the medication, I've changed medications, and I've been kind of in and out of counselling a couple of times, but I feel like that does, I've noticed the difference. I've leveled off, and I'm able to concentrate on, I feel like I'm able to concentrate on what's important, as opposed to just kind of spiraling.
It's giving you tools.
Yeah, I'm able to deal with things a bit more rationally, maybe, or I think it's to do with just not focusing on stuff, not constantly just being, and I feel like it's just a spiral.
Yeah. But now you feel you got the tools.
I feel like I'm figuring it out.
Yeah.
I don't by any means feel like I'm there. I don't feel like I've conquered anything particularly. I feel like I'm still kind of figuring it out. I don't really. I'm in a better place than I was.
Yeah.
Certainly. But
it's a journey.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's. I don't feel like I'm where I should be.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm certainly in a better place than I was, and I feel like that's a pretty good start, I suppose.
It takes a lot to share that, and
yeah,
and that's another thing as well, isn't it? Where we tend to feel like we have to suffer these things alone, and you saw that you recognized it. Some people don't, but it's nice to know that for maybe anybody who's watching this that there is a way out, and then there is, as they say, light at the end of the tunnel. That's thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate that. I want to just change the subject slightly because I don't know if it's related, but the Broken Down Romantic.
It's not actually.
I didn't think it might be. Knowing you.
bit of a shift. Aye. What Broken Down Romantic is, I wrote that when I was about 22, 23.
But it's got a resurgence. You played it recently.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I've started using the electric guitar, and it just feels right to play it with it like that. That's about kind of, if you've lived in a small town for long enough, people sort of start to know your history. So they know the girl that you went out with for a couple of months when you were 14, but they also know the person that you got off with drunk in a pub when you were 18, and they know the person that you went out with when you were 23 or whatever, and
there's no hiding.
There's no hiding, and that's kind of what it's about. And
it's kind of like a local. I found that very much in Northern Ireland. That there's a term that everybody knows the colour of your shite.
I've not heard that.
Well, it's probably down that way out, in your direction.
It's very.
And this is where this is spawned from, is it?
It's very difficult to hide, and you kind of. It's funny, and it's kind of it's comforting and annoying at the same time, and it's something that you get frustrated with, and maybe you feel like you outgrow places, but at the same time, there is a comfort to them.
Yeah.
So Derry is a place that I do have kind of conflicting emotions about, but I suppose it's when it's your home, you will always kind of feel a mixture of things. It's never going to be all great, and it's never going to be all shit. There's going to always be
mixture.
Yeah.
Do you want to give it a?
Yeah.
Give it a whirl.
This is Broken Down Romantic.
Walking down the street, feel like a fake. small for me to make sense of it all. I'm heeding the call. Every step is another betrayal, and I'm left holding the rail. It's getting hard to resist. And everyone is taking the pick, getting tired of this. And I'm a broken down romantic. I'm a broken down romantic. I'm a broken down romantic. Yeah. I'm a broken down romantic. I'm a broken down romantic. I'm a broken down romantic. Yeah. And everyone in this time is telling me I'm broken down. I started to believe it. And everyone in this time is telling me I'm broken. Started to believe them. Waiting for morning to come so we can go out, waste another one. Choosing to ignore every sign. Walk around still, pretending you're mine. Am I wasting my time? I'm a broken down romantic. I'm a broken down romantic. I'm a broken down romantic. Yeah. I'm a broken down romantic. I'm a broken down romantic. I'm a broken down romantic. Yeah. And everyone in this time is telling me I'm broken down. Started to believe them. Everyone in this time is telling me I'm broken down. Started to believe them.
Well, I want to just say thank you very much for this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Okay.
Find a little bit more about you. Didn't cover half of the things I wanted to talk to you about. That's good.
But I did talk quite a lot.
We did. We were good interview. So there'll be links in the description below where you can find Connor's SoundCloud link, and we'll also provide links to some of the equipment that he's mentioned as well today. Once again, just thank you very much.
And we'll plug. I'll try and get an event page up for the Grand Central next month. Hopefully, we'll see if we can get a few people up. That'll be pretty cool.
Definitely do. All right. Thank you very much, Connor.
No problem.
Cheers.